All right, I'm getting ready to go online to drive today. I missed my $3 bonus hour, but as far as right now, today I have a lot of different bonus hours that I can still drive. I don't really care too much for the $2 ones. $3 ones I don't really care for. I like $5 or more bonus hours per ride. But I'll do the $3 ones, and at the most, I make an additional $9 if I do 3 rides. But a lot of times, if it's not busy, especially, I'm not gonna really get that anyway. So what I did want to do is I wanted to show what my breakdown was for last week. All right, so last week, as you can see, my average that I made was $38.53 per hour. Now, don't get hyped up. Don't get hyped up. And I'm going to show you why. If you look right here on my driver status, I rejected 176 rides that didn't pay out well enough. Will I accept $3 rides? Yeah, I'll accept $3 rides if it's, I would say between pickup and drop off, can't exceed really two miles. 2 miles for $3. I mean, come on, I'm burning my gas and putting miles on my car, wear and tear, and all of that. I can't accept trips where it's 3, 4, 5 miles and I'm only being paid $3 or whatnot. So I'll accept it if it's like 1 or 2 miles, but anything exceeding that, I'm not gonna sit here and accept it. But as you can see there, that's 176 rides that I've rejected in 32 hours of online time. Now let's see the breakdown. Now, as the breakdown, I completed 85 trips. I rejected 176 trips. I was online a total of 32 hours and 27 minutes. My book time, meaning time passengers were, as you can see right here, it gives an explanation. It says the time driving to pick up and dropping off passengers. So that particular time right there is 21 hours. So that means that I was sitting without rejecting ride requests and or canceling ride requests for over 11 hours last week. 11 hours not heading to passengers. 11 hours with no passenger inside my vehicle. Now you can see book miles here. Miles driven during book time. During book time. So it's not the miles to pick up the passenger. I don't believe they're calculating that in there. I don't think they are. It says miles driven during book time and everything. But when you look up at the top, it says book time is the time spent to pick up and drop off passengers. So if you want to, you can look at that as being the total miles between picking up and dropping up. I need to start tracking those miles again because I used to, so I can make sure that they're actually including my book, the miles picking up passengers and dropping off. If they are including my total overall miles between pickup and drop off, then I didn't do too bad last week, because with all the miles that I drove, I basically averaged out to $2 per mile. But understand this, and let me see if I can show you on the rides themselves last week. All right, here we go. Last week, if you notice, you're going to notice that the rides that I did accept, they had a ride bonus on there. This ride right here didn't have a ride bonus, but it did have, I think the bonus hour was on there. So what you're going to notice is you're going to notice either a ride bonus or a bonus hour, or you will see both. But now I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not just only accepting rides with bonus hours and ride bonuses and that's it. That's not my intention, okay? It only ends up being like that because Lyft is not paying enough money for the rides. And don't think that for one moment, okay, well, I'm going to sign up for Uber because Uber must be better than Lyft. No, they both do the same thing. They both have the same script on how they price these rides, the same script on what they're going to pay the drivers. But I wanted to show you that the money that I made and the reason why it averaged out to $2 a mile is because there was a ride bonus on the trips that I did take, or a bonus hour. Between those two, that was the only reason why I was able to accept the trips that I did accept. Now, every blue moon, I was able to accept the trip that didn't have a ride bonus or a bonus hour, and that was due to other drivers declining that trip. It seems to be that, especially when it comes down to longer distance trips, that the only time that you're really going to find yourself accepting the trip is when other drivers have rejected it. Why? Because every time when one driver rejects it, another driver will receive the offer at a higher payout. It's usually 20, 30 cents, maybe 40 or 50 cents. And eventually it may get up to maybe $1 every time when drivers decline to ride. It all depends on what they charge the passenger, how long the passenger has been waiting, and all of that. I wish I could see those details so I know why I'm being paid more than usual for certain rides. But for the most part, I'm getting a normal payout for these rides. But what I'm doing is I'm scrolling down and I'm showing you that the only time that these rides are worth it is if there's a ride bonus on the ride. Other than that, it's not even worth it. Let me go down right here. So this ride right here. All right. So I was paid $6.15 for this particular ride, but the actual upfront fare for this ride was like $3. I only made extra on that trip because of the ride bonus, but otherwise I would have been paid $3 for that particular trip. Let me see, go down here to this first trip on November 22nd. I would have only received $3.16 for this particular ride, which was 2 miles on the drop off. We're not paid to pick passengers up. So yeah, I wouldn't have received much of anything if it wasn't for the fact that I had a $6 bonus on that particular ride. So imagine getting that ride, and what was that? I think the total of like 4 or 5 miles. Imagine getting that ride and for $3.16. Imagine there being no bonus at all. And you're getting that ride. You receive that ride request for $3.16. And as you can see, right here is showing it was 1.86 miles to the pickup, 2.26 miles to the drop off, meaning a total of 4 miles that you're driving for only $3.16. They don't pay enough. And so again, I would love to be out here and accept every ride request that they send to me every hour if the payout was based off of my criteria, what I want for a ride. If they send it to me, I'm going to have to do the ride because it meets my criteria. The rides that I do accept, it's because it meets my criteria. Some of them, I would say probably around about 40 to sometimes 60% of the rides meet my criteria during bonus hours when they're given a bonus. So again, as for me, I usually stay in certain areas to drive, and I do that because if I go elsewhere, I'm not going to get as many ride requests and everything. So I know that a driver, and I'm going to highlight this, a driver sitting in this area right here will accept a ride request that's going all the way over here where there's never any ride bonuses. They will accept that ride request going over here. And that ride request is going to pay out anywhere between $10, maybe $12 if a few drivers have rejected it. That's what that ride is going to pay out. And that person is going to accept it and put 14 miles on their car or 12 miles on their car. And you know why they're going to do it? It's because they don't see that many $9, $10 trips. So they're going to accept it, go all the way over there, and then they're not going to get any ride requests. Now I'm going to show you right now because I'm over in this area. Let's check the recent ride demand, and let's see if any passengers have been picked up over here. As you can see, as I zoomed out in the past 30 minutes, no passengers have been picked up over here. Let's go a little bit further west. No passengers. A little bit south. I'm looking at across the bridge, the highway. There's no drivers. Let it update. No drivers. I mean, no passengers. Now, you did see some down here. That's a decent. It's for maybe one driver. But that's not where passengers are picked up and dropped off. Most of those passengers have been picked up and been dropped off in this area over here, which you see that there is a higher demand for rides over in this area. So it's always better for me to be east rather me being west. And also, most of the time, when you're going up here by the border, you're not going to see very many ride requests. I usually try not to cross here. And I'll zoom in and show you what street that is. That is Mellowwood. Over here, it is actually Temperance. As far as the street goes, I definitely will not go up there here. In this area across this line, you have the mall over there, so you would think that it would be busy and everything. Actually, no, it isn't. It isn't. Maybe on the weekends when movie night comes, but you're going to only pick up a passenger up there, but you're going to end up going south in the first place. But purpose of the video is to kind of explain to the public and to also explain to drivers that want to come aboard is that it really isn't any money or worth driving if it isn't any bonus hours. You're going to check the bonus hours by going up here to the top left. And when you click on that, you can click on your tier here. And so when you click on that, you scroll to the bottom, hit learn more at the bottom, and it's going to show you what your busy hours are for the week. And you're going to notice, at least in my market and when I'm in Michigan, also, they don't show anything for Tuesday. Tuesday doesn't appear, and if you're online Tuesdays, you'll find out why. That is because they really do, I don't know if they have low demand, which doesn't make any sense when Monday through Thursday should pretty much be the same. Friday nights should be an increase in rides. And so for Friday and Saturday, it's usually busy. Sunday, as far as Michigan and Ohio, when I've driven out here, it isn't all that busy. But nevertheless, they will pay out a little bit more during the bonus hours. And when I mean by a little bit more, I mean where you usually get paid $13 for a ride, you may get paid $308, maybe $314. And as drivers keep on declining, it'll go up higher and everything and whatnot. So again, like I said, as far as for me, I'm more selective towards what rides I'm going to accept. If you are a driver doing this and you think that you have to maintain a certain acceptance rate to receive any favor from Lyft, no, you don't. Lyft does not favor you whether you're black, white, Mexican, African. They don't favor you whether you're an American or if you have a high acceptance rate. They don't favor you because you have a high passenger rating or any of that. None of that stuff matters. My passenger rating, it's very rare, but every blue moon, it'll drop down to like 4.8. It's usually when I put my Bluetooth in. I'll say hello when people get in the car, but I don't know if they say, hey, can I use the windows or can I get some heat or air? I don't know if they're talking to me and everything like that. Some people are smart enough to tap me and everything and whatnot and say, hey, I was wondering if I could raise down the window. And I appreciate them for being nice. I leave the windows unlocked. Anybody can raise it down. I'm okay with that. Unless it's cold outside and my car is hot and now you're trying to raise down the window because you've been doing drugs and you just have hot flashes or whatever. But normally my acceptance rate, it is really, really low. Not too long ago, and when I mean not too long ago, I mean over 3 weeks ago, my acceptance rate was down to 1%. So that is a reference for drivers who think that they have to maintain an acceptance rate. No, you don't. Lyft will tell you, even if you message them in the app, your acceptance rate doesn't, it just lets you know how often you accept rides. It doesn't mean that you're going to be deactivated. You'll be deactivated if your cancellation rate ends up going up, if your ratings from your passengers end up going down, safety flags go up too high, and then your service flags end up going up too high. And it's really easy to just make sure your car is clean, greet people when they get in, and say, have a nice day when they get out. You shouldn't have to. It's just that people are arrogant in this society. They think that it's required that if you're providing a service that you have to do all of that. No, I think that the most important part of this job is for me to get you to from point A to point B. And you're required to say thank you at the end of the ride before I say anything, because you should appreciate that I'm not out here getting high, that I'm not out here getting drunk, and that I'm not out here driving when I'm depressed, stressed out, or aggravated or agitated or whatever the case is. A lot of people forget you got a lot more to be appreciative towards versus the things that you are negative towards or whatnot. But again, for everybody, if you want to drive for Lyft, you can drive for Lyft. If you want to drive for Uber, you can drive for Uber. But are you going to make a lot of money? No, you are not. And I will show you this year, because the majority of the year I was accepting a lot of ride requests because I thought my acceptance rate meant something. But we're in November, and for this year, I've only was able to accomplish $44,683. Now, this had to do with, now, also remember, Lyft doesn't pay for our gas. They don't pay for our maintenance. I had my brakes done 2 times this year. It's my fault. I went to a mom and pop shop. It wasn't no warranty on there. That's number one. Number two, I had the front done. And then a month or two later, I had the rear done. And then I ended up having to have all the brakes done, because you want to try to have all brakes and rotors done at the exact same time. That's why I had to go back and have my brakes done a total of 3 times, because I did the front one day, and a month or two later did the rear, and then the next thing you know, I needed to replace both. So always remember, brakes and rotors, same exact time. Most people already know that. I knew that, but I was trying to stay on the road. I didn't want my car to be down too long. I needed to make money. And then not only that, but I didn't have the money to get the brakes and rotors done at the exact same time, front and rear, the first time around. And that was due to prices I was getting was around about $1,400 to $1,700, and I eventually ended up getting all the brakes done for, I think it was around $800 and something when I went in to get all of them done. But I'm hearing some grinding, not so much grinding, but squeaking now, and so I need to take that back up to the shop, find out where that squeaking noise actually is. But if you look down below, it's also showing you my driver status, rides completed, 4,411 rides. So if you think about it, I made 44,000. I completed 4,411 trips. Do the math. Now, rides rejected exceeds the rides that I completed. I've actually rejected 5,980 rides. Total time I spent online, total combined time that I spent online was 2,041 hours and 41 minutes. So $44,683 divided by $2,041. My average that I made was $21.89. Now, some people, especially people that make minimum wage, are like, man, I'm about to drive for Lyft. Back off for a second. Number one, before you start driving for any app, Lyft, Uber, DoorDash, Grubhub, Uber Eats, all of them, before you start doing that, you have to tell your insurance company that you're using your vehicle for work. Instantly, your rates for driving for these apps are going to go up on your personal auto insurance. Your rates are going to go up. You're going to pay more money now for your personal insurance because you're driving for these apps. You're going to be driving more. Remember, when you go and get your insurance, they always ask you, well, how often do you drive? What are you commuting for, and everything. They're factoring that information in is to find out how much they should charge you for your rates. Now, when you go back in to renew your policy and everything like that, they want to know how many miles you got on your car. They want to know if that's accurate or not. If you actually were staying inside of that zone and you haven't been driving your car that often, and your rates are they're not going to give you that much of a discount, or your rates will stay the same because you've been driving a heck of a lot more than what you quoted. So one, your insurance rates are going to go up. If you do not pay for your increase in insurance, let's say you're driving to pick up a passenger and you get in an accident, you're not covered. You're not covered by your insurance company isn't going to cover it. To my knowledge, I think with Lyft, you're only covered if the passenger is in the car. That's when you're covered. You're not covered on the way to the pickup. Now Uber has it to where if you pay an extra 50 cents per trip, then they'll cover you on the way to the passenger. So and that sucks because if the trip is if you're only making $3 off the trip, then you're paying 50 cent. You paying that 50 cent. Now you're only making $2.50 from that trip. And whether Uber actually pays the insurance company that extra 50 cents, I don't even know. They could easily say, yeah, you're covered. And it's because they're going to back you. Uber's going to back you, not the insurance company, in case something happens. We can go online, and I think it's like 100 or 200 rides a year drivers get into an accident on a platform and everything. So if you imagine that they have millions of drivers that they're getting 50 cents a ride from if they charge them, if the person opts into that. So yeah, that's why I don't opt into that. But yeah, if you're looking at the 2189 and you're thinking, oh, he's making good money. No, because they're not paying my my auto insurance rates. And even if I go out and get commercial auto insurance, they're still going to charge me. They're still going to take that money from the fare. Lyft is. So it's no point in me getting commercial auto insurance, even though I know I'll be making more money with paying for the commercial auto insurance. So there's that. Gas and maintenance as well. So in all actual reality, if we do the math, which I'm not about to do right now, when I deduct my costs and everything or whatnot, I'm making less than minimum wage. And this is one of the reasons why you see things like this, and this is in Toledo, Ohio. Lyft drivers make an average of $31,000 per year, or $15 per hour. Top earners make $38,000, 75% $36,000, 25% $29,000. So I'm in the top earners in the Toledo market, but also you have to look at the fact that between I want to say January and April. No, I would say maybe February or May. March. I was in Michigan driving, doing Lyft, and I made some money during that time and stuff. And so I reduced my time driving for Uber because I no longer drive for them after I got carjacked and robbed and they deactivated my account. How? Who knows? I don't care. But nevertheless, again, you have to you have to look at the fact that I have to pay for gas, and that's 45. That usually costs me around $40. $40 a day. That's $200. That's $200 on a weekly basis if I only drive 5 days a week. Multiply the 200 by 52, and we have $10,400. So going back into Lyft, over $10,000 towards gas, that brings me to $34,000 after gas expense. Now, again, every driver more than likely will need to replace their tires on their car. So, depending on where you go, you may end up spending $800 over $1,000. Better off getting all season tires. However, especially if you're getting them during the winter time. But however, if it's outside of the winter time and it's like right where spring is or whatnot, then yeah, I suggest just some normal tires if you're going. And it's less money if you go into a used tire shop and getting tires, but you don't have a warranty, and 9 out of 10 you're going to replace 1 or 2 tires. But if you get the roll, again, if you are going to go to a new tire shop, you need to understand this. They're going to give you I think it's 5,000 or 50,000 mile warranty on there, but that warranty is for normal wear and tear. Normal wear and tear. You get a flat tire, you got to buy another tire. It's normal wear and tear, meaning just normal driving. It doesn't cover you for road hazard, meaning nailing your tire, glass or whatever. That doesn't cover you. You have to get the you have to purchase the road hazard warranty, and then that way, if you get a flat tire, they'll replace the tire for free. So, like I said, normal wear and tear means the thread goes low. The thread is starting to expose, or the rubber is the groove in the tire. The depth is supposed to be a certain percentage. So when it's low, that means that the rubber has worn out and everything, which can happen if, let's say, your brakes are bad or your shocks are bad. stuff like that can cause your tires to go bad. So they will expect it and everything like that. And in some cases, they would tell you that they can't put a warranty on the car because because your brakes are bad or your suspension is bad and everything like that or whatever. So you may not get the factory warranty. You may not even be able to get the road hazard warranty. But I just wanted to make sure I, explain that stuff to you. If you are a driver, even if you aren't a driver, I would definitely recommend that you get, let me see if I can find it. Get this app right here, which is Car Advice. Car Advice will get you Car Advice will get you a fleet discount and everything. So they get people that sign up with their app, and based off of the number of requests, they get discounts from different shops and everything like that. And I'll tell you one thing, what you can do, you can get the quote off of here and go into a mom and pop shop and tell them, hey, I got this quote. It's showing in Car Advice that I'll only have to pay this amount for the work, and I wanted to make sure that's and this is showing for, Bell Tire or this shop or that shop or whatever. You're showing them this and saying, is it, I didn't know if they were trying to screw me on the price or if this is probably the cheapest that I can get the deal done. That mom and pop shop will probably tell you that they can match that price, or that they can beat the price. They want your business too. If they can make a profit off of it, they'll probably go ahead and do the work, especially if they aren't that busy or whatnot. So you can use this against, you can go ahead and you can use this against the other shops and whatnot. So it's all up to you. But like I said, the money-wise in the apps, the only way you're going to make money is if you're online during the bonus hours and accept rides during those times. I know you're probably thinking like, well, you got a $2 bonus hour. Why aren't you on online and everything like that? Because it's a $2 bonus hour. I don't really care about $2. I like the $3 ones, but I am going to go online either by 11 o'clock, or I might go online right after I release this video or whatnot. But like I said before, this is getting rougher and rough out here. And maybe, Lyft and Uber, they started this to make affordable rides for people. They never cared about this being affordable rides. They never cared about this being affordable rides. This was all about diluting the city taxi. That's what this was about. This is about diluting the city taxi and getting Uber and Lyft. At the time of Uber, it was about getting them a market share. They wanted to be able to get in there, and the only way to do that was to dilute the city taxi. They took this business from the city taxi, and it cost them, Uber, a lot of money. They had to bring in a lot of investors. Those investors are of course, they want their money back, but they want also interest and everything. But it's hard to buy out an investor when this business is a multi-billion-dollar business. Quarterly, not just yearly, but quarterly. So again, this is why they can't pay drivers, or they won't pay drivers, because the investors are like, well, we can keep drivers online more by not allowing them to make money too fast. Back in the day, that's what was happening. Drivers were making a lot of money. Nowadays, they don't want the drivers making money too fast. They want to make sure the drivers are out here 8 to 10 hours a day, but a lot of drivers are only doing this part-time because they don't pay enough money. Drivers can't afford to feed their family. And if they were smart, the way that they should operate the business is that they would say that you would get, you pay people the right amount of money. But then at the same time, after 8 hours, you're going to get paid a lot more money for your rides on your trips to incentivize them to work over 8 hours. You got drivers out here driving 80 hours a week, 120 hours a week, and they're not getting paid time and a half. It's just standard pay. And you may get bonuses and everything like that may end up coming on your app as well, as far as the bonus hours and everything. But again, If you pay people the right amount and then you said, hey, after 40 hours, we're going to be paying you an additional $2 for every ride that you give during non-busy hours and $3 extra per ride for every ride that you give. Okay, now you have people's interest to where they can be online more than 40 hours a week. But outside of that, that's really complicated to do when you're not offering any incentive, when you're not paying people enough as is. You know, and I wanted to bring up again from last week, I could have did a lot more hours on this app. I could have did a lot more hours. So as you can see, last week I was only online 32 hours, and I rejected 176 rides. So the amount of time that I really was booked for last week, let's see, it says book time 21 hours and 44 minutes. 21 hours and 44 minutes. Imagine if it was 60 hours. 60 hours that I actually accepted ride requests. Okay, the amount that I would have made would have been more, but I would have made less than what I actually made. So if you're looking at 32 hours, if I actually put in 60 hours, would I have made last week? Would I've made $874? I mean, in addition, meaning would have took home $1,700? No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't have taken home $1,700. I might have taken home maybe around $1,200, but I would have doubled my miles. I would have doubled the miles that I put on my car if I would have doubled my time online. I'm sorry. I wouldn't have just doubled it. I would say that it's safe to say that I would have tripled my miles. So currently right now, the miles that I did put on my car to make the 874, to make another 874, I wouldn't have just doubled my miles. I would have actually tripled my miles. That's what I believe, because when you're accepting any ride requests, you're going to end up taking riders from areas where it's busy at, over here east, all the way over here west, all the way up north. And those are areas where it's really slow at. You're going to end up taking passengers. You're going to end up taking passengers because you're not cherry picking. You're going to end up taking passengers all the way over here to Perrysburg, where it's really slow at, because it's the upper suburbs. I've even had ride requests coming over here where there's no, not ride requests, but drop-offs over here where there's no riders at all. And then you'll end up with rides that go up here in Michigan where if you haven't had your car inspected, guess what? You can't drive up there. Has to be inspected if it's over 5 years old, I believe. You can't drive. So these are things that you have to consider when dealing with these apps and everything like that. You know, if you are accepting every ride, then you're going to lose more money. Now, if you're chasing a ride challenge, maybe it might balance out. Never has for me. I had a $700 bonus in this 1 week, as long as I did 200 rides in 4 days. And guess what? Guess what happened by the end of the week, from that Monday to Friday, when I did the 700, when I made the $700 bonus during tier 1, 2, and 3. Guess what happened? I lost money. I didn't make money. I had a $700 bonus that week. $700 bonus, and I lost money. I lost. I didn't win. It never seemed like a bonus when I calculated how many miles I put on my car, how much I paid in gas. I lost. Sure, I had money in my pocket, but I lost money because I was too busy trying to get numbers, the rides, and not paying attention to whether it was profitable or not. All right, so I want to stop this video. Thanks for watching. Hopefully I have taught somebody something and they've learned from this video, and we all start to cherry pick into these companies. Either they're not going to go out of business, they're just going to put these autonomous cars out here. And I've made videos before, and I'm going to tell you people this again. When it comes down to autonomous vehicles, Your rides are going to be cheap at first. But as soon as they bump out all the human drivers, guess what's going to happen? Your price for your rides are going to increase. Just like when they bumped out the city taxi, your prices went up. It's not as cheap as it used to be. It's not about it's not about the prices of everything have went up, because they're still paying. Let's put it like this: back in the day when it first started, I think drivers were getting $2 or $3 base fare for a ride, meaning they could pick you up and take you where you had to go to, and they were getting like $2 or $3 if you were only traveling, say, a half a mile or a mile, maybe 2 or 3 miles. They weren't getting paid that much. Pandemic hit, they got a 50-cent surge that was charged to the passenger. But they took that away. They ended up taking that away. They only gave it to drivers to incentivize drivers to be out there. But, I mean, come on. You do 10 rides at 50 cents. Let's say you do 30 rides in a day. At 50 cents per ride, surcharge, whatever you want to call it. At 50 cents per ride, that's only an extra $15 a day. If we're looking at gas prices 15, 20 years ago, then yeah, that's okay. But this is 2024. When the pandemic hit, 2020, 2021, or whatever. So making an extra $15 a day to cope with gas prices that doubled, in some cases tripled, that was not making a dent in the driver's pockets after they paid the gas prices. If you had a 12-gallon tank of gas, if you had a 12-gallon tank, took you 12 gallons to fill up at $3.54 a gallon, you were paying $42.48. $42.48. When this first started out, drivers used to be able to pay $15, $18 to fill up their gas tank. So don't act like that extra little 50 cent that people were actually out here complaining about. Oh, we shouldn't have to pay for it. What do you mean? Gas prices are up. You don't have to pay for it. But who in the hell is going to drive? Because it's not for tips. These people hardly ever tip. And because of that, it's no reason to do excessive amounts of rides at a loss to you. It's the driver, and there's no reason to sit around and be online knowing that you're losing money, etc. But as you can see, yesterday, what was that? Saturday, it's showing that it was $40.27. It's what I made, and that was off 5 rides, less than 2 hours, but it was 1 tip. 5 rides, 1 tip. Day before, I only did 1 ride, 0 tips. Day before that, I did 33 rides, 5 tips. One of the bigger days of getting tips, actually. Now, scroll down to another day, and you can see that I did 7 rides, 2 tips, 21 rides, 2 tips. Not much of a difference between those 2 days. 18 rides, 3 tips. And I'll scroll down. Okay, I can go down to multiple days where I have done more than 20 rides and received no tips at all. And so that's why I'm going to decline rides. And as I'm declining rides and other drivers are cherry picking, Lyft is going to offer more money for rides. They're going to bump passengers out of the queue. The passenger had to request a ride again. It's going to be more expensive. But your wait time is still going to be another 10, 15 minutes before you even get a driver, before the payout for that ride actually gets to where a driver finally accepts it. So that's why a lot of people request rides on multiple platforms until they get a driver, but sometimes they forget to cancel and they get a cancellation fee. But thanks for watching. I appreciate you. I hope you enjoy your day.